Hello, lovely viewers. You are welcome once again to SKB Sports TV, and this is the Sports Couch. And today, this evening, I'm taking you through tennis once again. As I said, or as I've said in my previous videos, tennis is my second favorite sport aside football. And you realize that the lovers of tennis will agree with me that it's one wonderful sport, and sometimes even the excitement level, especially at these Grand Slam tournaments, the shocks and the excitement levels it brings, it sometimes even makes you more excited than some football matches in quote. We all know that, as I always say, as for me, the Champions League, the UEFA Champions League is my best football tournament. The World Cup, the AFCON, the Copa America, all these nice tournaments, European Championships are there. But for me, the football tournament that really moves me, that really makes me believe in, especially spiritual things, as I always say, because the Champions League is one hell of a tournament. But tennis is a wonderful sport, and the finals of this year's third Grand Slam, that's the Wimbledon, or the championships, okay, that's how it is called. We all know that Wimbledon is held at Great Britain. Yeah, so at the All England Lawn Tennis and Crochet Club, that's where it is held. And Wimbledon, as we all know, started way back. Okay, Wimbledon started way back in 1877. Wimbledon started way back in 1877, which is 145 years ago. Okay, 145 years ago, and this year's edition is the 135th edition, because it's not every year that Wimbledon was held. An example is in the 2020 COVID time, Wimbledon was not held. So there were some years that Wimbledon was not held. So even though it started 145 years ago in 1877, it's not every year that Wimbledon was held. So this year's edition is the 135th edition. So this evening I'm just taking you through some quick tennis updates. The finals of this year's Wimbledon is set. Okay, the finals of this year's Wimbledon is set, and you realize that both the WTA, the women's finals, is set, same as the ATP, the men's finals. And let me start with the women's finals. As I said in my previous video, can Ons Jabeur from Tunisia, who is an African, can she win her first major? Can she win her first major Grand Slam and become only the second African to achieve this feat? Can Ons Jabeur win her first major Grand Slam and become the only second African to achieve this feat? And can Ons Jabeur become the first woman, okay, at the Grand Slam level to win a major Grand Slam? No African woman, let me qualify it. No African tennis player has been able to win a major Grand Slam at these four majors, which is the Australian Open, the first one, the Roland Garros or the French Open, the second one, the championships, which is the Wimbledon currently ongoing. That's the third Grand Slam of the year, and the fourth Grand Slam of the year is US Open. And no player from Africa has been able to win a major Grand Slam at the women's level, the WTA. And Ons Jabeur this season, or this calendar year, the tennis she has played has been sensational. The tennis she has played has been sensational, and you realize that she's in the finals. Okay, she's made the finals together with Elena Rybakina of Kazakhstan, the Russian-born Kazakhstanian player. So God willing, tomorrow Saturday we would witness the WTA finals, or the finals of the women's Wimbledon, okay, singles. This is the singles. And we are all, as for me personally, I'm rooting my support, or throwing my support behind the Tunisian player to make Africa proud. As I said the other time, only one African has been successful at these majors, and that was Johan Craig's in 1981 and 1982, where Johan Craig's won back-to-back Australian Open titles. He won it in 1981 and he defended it in 1982, and he was from South Africa. So he is the only African to have won a major Grand Slam, and he did it twice, winning it back-to-back in 81 and 82. Johan Craig's of South Africa. Since then, no African player has been able to win a major Grand Slam. So that's why I'm throwing my full support behind the Tunisian Ons Jabeur for her to win her first major Grand Slam and add to her, career titles she's won, and give her the confidence. She's, 27 years old, and the tennis she has played this year is remarkable. I'll take you through some of the tennis she has played this year. We also know that there's the doubles also. There's the doubles, and last year's Roland Garros winner or French Open winner, Barbora Krejcikova from Czech Republic, and her double, team partner, Katarina Siniakova, also from Czech Republic. They've made, the finals of this year's doubles, and I believe they will win it. I know they would win it, and I will come and talk about them in my next video after all the finals are played. They've made the finals and they are waiting for the winner between this duo, Ellis Mertens of Belgium together with her Chinese partner Xue Zhang. They are playing against Danielle Rose-Collins of US, and also her partner Desiree Krawitz also from US. So that's the other semi-finals of the doubles, okay, the women's doubles being played, and this year I'm focusing on the women's doubles. This player, Venus Williams, made a return, okay, a sensational return to tennis. I think she qualified from the first round of the doubles. This year she was playing the doubles to the second round, and she was eliminated, I think, at the third round. And in my subsequent videos or my next tennis video, I would let you guys in on how she felt. She has been eliminated anyway. So the finals, I believe Barbora Krejcikova, last year's Roland Garros winner, in terms of the women's singles, she and her double team partner Katarina Siniakova, also from Czech Republic, they will be playing in the finals. They've made the finals, as I said, and the other semi-finals ongoing. Ellis Mertens from Belgium with her Chinese, double team partner Xue Zhang. It's currently, I think, the second set is ongoing, and it's currently, let me say, it's 1-1. Yeah, it's currently 1-1. So let's see how it goes. They are playing against the American duo Danielle Rose-Collins and her double team partner Desiree Krawitz. Okay, yeah, very difficult name to pronounce, but she's also an American. So we'll see how it goes. So Barbora Krejcikova and her double team partner Katarina Siniakova, they are two great tennis players, especially when it comes to the doubles, okay, when it comes to the doubles, and they have some remarkable records when it comes to the doubles that I'll let you guys in very soon, okay. We all know that as for tennis, we are all enthused about the singles. That's what most tennis players are enthused about. But sometimes the doubles too, if someone makes a remarkable feat, I believe they are worth celebrating. Barbora Krejcikova, as I said, she won last year's Roland Garros for the women's singles. 2021 Roland Garros of French Open, she won it on the clay surface, and that's her only major Grand Slam singles win, okay. But at the doubles, she's so good. She's one of the best doubles player you get currently, okay. And you realize that at the doubles, together with her compatriot, who's also her partner Katarina Siniakova, also from Czech Republic. They've won as many as 4, Grand Slam titles. One at the Australian Open this year. The Australian Open, they won the doubles, the women's doubles. They won it together. And also last year they won the doubles at French Open, and also they won it again at 2018, the French Open or the Roland Garros. As I said, Barbora Krejcikova won the women's singles last year on the clay court. You all know that French Open is played on clay court. She won it. Okay, Barbora Krejcikova, the singles, and also together with her double team partner, which is Katarina Siniakova. They also teamed up and they also won it last year. So she won both the singles and also the doubles with Katarina Siniakova last year. So 2 French Open titles in 2018 and 2021 last year, together with Katarina Siniakova. And also this tournament, Wimbledon, that we are playing, they've won the major Grand Slam at the doubles before in 2018, and they've made the finals this year too. You see, in the singles, Katarina Siniakova was eliminated from the first round, and you realize that Barbora Krejcikova that I'm talking about, I fell in love with this lady last season. On the clay court, she was virtually unstoppable, and she won, as I said, both the doubles with Katarina Siniakova and also the women's singles. And I came to like her last year because of the tennis she played. And you realize that this year I see them to be the outright favorites. The other semi-finals ongoing, no matter the team that faces them, I believe they will win. And when they win, I'll come and celebrate them more. Okay, so that's the women's doubles. Okay, that's the women's doubles. And also I think there's also the mixed doubles. The mixed doubles, as I explained the other time, is, let's say, 2 players of opposite gender, that's a male and a female, teaming together to play against 2 players of opposite sex on the other half of the court. That's how it is. So the singles, you play alone together with your opponent, and the doubles, if it's a male double, 2 males playing against 2 other males on the other court. And if it's let's say a women's double, two tennis women players playing together or playing against another tennis like women players that have teamed up on the other half. And the mixed doubles is a male and a female, okay, teaming together to play against another male and female on the other half. That's it with tennis. But most of tennis lovers are concerned about the singles, but the doubles is sometimes interesting. So today I'm taking you through the doubles a little bit. So that's how it is. For the mixed doubles, let me see for the mixed doubles, for the mixed doubles, I'll get you the mixed doubles soon and see whether Barbora Krejcikova made it again, the mixed doubles. Okay, so before I get to that, let's look at the mixed doubles. Let's look at the mixed doubles. Okay. So this year's mixed doubles has already been determined. It has already been determined, and the mixed doubles was won by a homegrown talent or a homegrown player for the men's side, Neil Skupski, who teamed up with his female partner Desiree Krajcik. So Desiree Krajcik has won the mixed doubles together. She's from US, okay? She's from US, and she's won the mixed double with the homegrown talents from Great Britain or United Kingdom, Neil Skupski. They teamed up to beat Australian Matthew Ebden and also his mixed double partner Samantha Stossel. Okay, so that's what happened with the finals of the mixed doubles. So Desiree Krajcik, currently she's playing the other semi-finals. As I said, Barbora Krejcikova from Czech Republic and her fellow compatriot Katarina Siniakova, all from Czech Republic. They are on 4 major Grand Slam titles at the doubles, okay. And as I said, last year they won the French Open, so they've made the finals, and they are waiting for the other match, or the other team. And this US player, Desiree Kratchwork, that teamed up with the Brits Neil Skupski to win this year's mixed doubles finals, okay. She's also playing in the other semi-finals to make the finals of the women's double, and she's playing together with her compatriots. They've teamed up. That's Danielle Rose Collins, also from US. So Danielle Rose Collins and Desiree Kreichwag, who has won this year's mixed double, together with Neil Skupski. Let's see. I'm praying that she makes the finals and they will meet the Czech duo, so that it will be two players from the same country. Sometimes it's not every day that you get your double team partner or your mixed team partner from the same country. Sometimes two players from different countries, okay. So this year's finals at the women's doubles, we've had the first finalist Barbora Krejcikova and also Katarina Siniakova, all from Czech Republic, okay. And as I said, they won last year's Roland Garros women's doubles, and even in 2018 they also won it, okay. And they won Wimbledon, this tournament in 2018 too, teaming up as a double. So I'm hoping they meet the US duo. As I said the other time, I have soft spot for US tennis players, especially the women, because of Serena Williams and Venus Williams, their exploits, and some past tennis players from the United States, how they've dominated tennis. Because of that, I have a soft spot for tennis players from US, and also from Spain, because of my affiliation with Real Madrid. I always say that. So I'm hoping the US duo in Danielle Rose Collins and also this lady Desiree Kratchwork, who have won this year's Grand Slam mixed double, teaming up with Neil Skupski. I hope they make the finals and meet the Czech duo in Barbora Krejcikova and also Katarina Siniakova. That's what I'm hoping for. Now back to the women's singles. That's what everybody is interested in. Ons Jabeur from Tunisia, Africa. She's on the verge of making history, and I believe the tennis she has played this year, at the start of this year up till now, she's won a lot of tour like singles finals. We all know that it's not only the Grand Slam titles that tennis players play. They play for the women's, they play in the WTA 250, 500, thousands, and at the end of the year they even play in the WTA finals. And the WTA final, the other time I explained that the Grand Slam tournaments is the highest tier or ranking in terms of points, followed by the finals, the WTA finals, okay. And for the men is the ATP finals, and then the 1000 Masters, and the women the 1000 tour, WTA 1000 tour Masters, and it follows 500, 250. So the numbers determines the rank, and the Grand Slam is the first, as I said, followed by the WTA finals and the 1000 Masters and 500, 250 and all that. That's how it is for both the men and also the women. And Ons Jabeur this year, she won, before coming to this year's Wimbledon or the championship, this year's Wimbledon, she won the Berlin WTA Grass by beating Swiss player Belinda Bencic, okay. She was leading 1-0 in the first set. In the second set, Belinda Bencic couldn't continue, so she retired. So Ons Jabeur won the Berlin WTA Grass, okay. Now Ons Jabeur also lost the Rome WTA clay, okay. It was played on a clay court. Rome WTA, they are all part of those tour tournaments, and they are all important because you build your points by playing these. You play these tours before the major Grand Slam. So let me explain for people to understand. When you are about to play, let's say on the clay court, the Grand Slam, that's the French Open or the Roland Garros, you play some tour tournaments on clay courts, okay, before you go to the main Grand Slam. That's how it is. So before the French Open this year, you play at Madrid. Madrid is clay. The Mutua Madrid Open and the Madrid tour is clay for both the men and also the females, and you also play on the room, clay surface or WTA. And you realize that Ons Jabeur lost the room WTA clay tour tournament to world number 1 Iga Swiatek from Poland. Okay, so, and as I said, she won in the WTA Berlin grass, and they played that one as a curtain raiser for this year's Wimbledon, because Wimbledon is played on the natural grass courts. Okay, and she also made the finals of the Madrid WTA clay, beating US player Jessica Pegula. Okay, and she also made the finals of the WTA Stuttgart indoor clay tournament, and she lost to the Spaniard Paula Bardoza Gibet. Okay, so this year you realize that Ons Jabeur from Tunisia, she's been very, very competitive, and she's won 2 tour tournaments, and she's lost one. The French Open, the previous Grand Slam before this year's Wimbledon, she didn't do well at all. She was eliminated, I think, from the first round. It was the first round that the Polish player Magdalena eliminated the French Open, the second Grand Slam. But this year's Grand Slam, she's managed to make Africa proud, and she's made the finals. So I believe Elena Rybakina, so it's a very, very good tennis player, Elena Rybakina at this year's tournament. Let me talk a little bit about her. You see, her WTA ranking is 23. Okay, just 23 years of age, and Ons Jabeur is the second best ranked tennis women's player from Tunisia, and at this year's tournament she's ranked 3rd. Sorry, she's seeded 3rd. There's a difference between seeding and ranking. As I said the other time, ranking is the points you've accumulated over the years and your performance, that gives you the ranking. Okay, and the seed is respective to tournaments, so you can have a higher ranking, but due to some circumstances maybe your seed might drop or it might go up. That's how it is. So at this year's Wimbledon, going into the quarterfinals onwards, you realize that Ons Jabeur from Tunisia was the highest ranked tennis women's player, and now she's made the finals. And the finals, let me look at her rank in the finals. Her finals, she's the 3rd seed, and she's playing Elena Rybakina, as I said, from Kazakhstan, who is the 17th seed. Now Elena Rybakina has been very, very competitive and very, 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 very serious at this year's tournament. She's dropped just 1 set. You see, you play 7 rounds getting to the finals, and she dropped only 1 set. The only set she dropped was against the Australian player Alja Tomjanovic. That's the only set Elena Rybakina dropped. That's the only game she dropped a set. Dropping a set means you lose a game. Okay, so the other 5 rounds she won in straight sets. That means that her opponent couldn't even win a single game. Okay, that shows you couldn't win a single set. That shows you how competitive and how authoritative her tennis has been at this year's championships or Wimbledon. So even though she's the 17th seed, you realize that our African player Ons Jabeur, who is on the brink of making Africa proud, okay, really has a match to play, God willing, tomorrow at 1:00 p.m. Ghana time. So that's how it will be. Ons Jabeur, on the other hand, Ons Jabeur has also dropped just 2 sets. Okay, her first 4 rounds she won all in straight sets. Okay, and you realize that in the quarterfinals against this Czech player Mari Bushkova, she dropped a set, so she won 2-1. Okay, and in the semi-finals against the German player Tatjana Maria, she also dropped 1 set. So she's also dropped just 2 sets out of the 6 rounds, and her opponent in the finals from Kazakhstan, Elena Rybakina, has dropped just 1 set. Okay, in the semi-final. That means that it's going to be a very competitive final, God willing, tomorrow, and I'm throwing my support behind Ons Jabeur to make Africa proud, to be the first women's tennis player to win a major Grand Slam, and also the second African to win a major Grand Slam since Johan Cruyff of South Africa in 1981 and 82 won back-to-back Australian Open titles. So Africa, we are on the brink of a record, and let's throw our support behind Ons Jabeur from Tunisia. As I said, her tennis this year has been remarkable, even though she didn't do well in the previous Grand Slam that was played on clay courts. That's the French Open or the Roland Garros. She's won 2 tour titles and even lost another tour title finals to the world number 1 from Poland, Iga Swiatek. So tomorrow's final, the women's singles will be interesting. And as I said, when Wimbledon completes, my next tennis video, I'll come and talk about Barbora Krejcikova, the Czech, sensational doubles player who also won last year's women's singles at Roland Garros, together with her partner Katarina Siniakova, also from Czech, and they have 4 Grand Slam titles, okay, playing together at the doubles, and it's a remarkable feat. So I'll come and talk about them. They are in the finals, and for me, they are the favorites to win, and I'm praying that they meet Desiree Krajcik from US together with her double team partner Daniel Rose Collins, and it will be an interesting final. Now let's move to the ATP, the men. Okay, now it's so sad if you are a fan of Rafael Nadal. Rafael Nadal couldn't play his semi-final match. He had to walk over, and the qualification was awarded to Nick Kyrgios of Australia. We all know that Nick Kyrgios is 27 years old, and this is his first major Grand Slam. He made the semi-finals, and this year's Wimbledon, Nick Kyrgios from Australia has really done very well. He had a semi-final date with arguably the greatest of all time, Rafael Nadal, who is on 22 major Grand Slams. But Rafael Nadal realized that, as I always say, tennis is an energy-sapping, sport. You have to be very fit. You have to be in a good condition. You don't have to carry any injuries or hidden injuries to a major Grand Slam tournament because it is very demanding. I think when you play one game, you just have about just a day's rest. You play the second game at a day's rest, and you see they don't get enough time to even rest. And it also takes time, because some of the matches, let me use Rafael Nadal's quarterfinal match against the US player Harry Taylor Fritz, and it was an energy sapping one, end-to-end action. It was a 5-set game that saw the Spanish legend Rafael Nadal win by 3-2. Okay, 3 sets to 2. You realize that it was very competitive, and it lasted over, I think, 4 hours 20 minutes. 4 hours 20 minutes. I'll get you the exact details very soon. 4 hours 20 minutes, and you realize that that match, Rafael Nadal exhausted a lot of energy. He expended or exhausted a lot of energy in that match, and he had this abdominal, tear, about 7 millimeters tear in his abdomen, and the Spanish newspaper Marca.com said Rafael Nadal would shrug it off and play in the semi-finals, hoping to make the finals, but unfortunately that injury, that abdominal tear injury, couldn't allow him to play in the semi-finals, and he had to walk over. You see, when you have a match in tennis and you have an injury and you are not able to play, it is termed as you've walked over. So the qualification or the win will be awarded to your opponent. And let's say even if you start to play, let's say you play 1 or 2 sets and you realize that you can't continue due to injury, that one is termed you retire, and also the points or the win will be awarded to your opponent. That's how tennis is. They always need to have a winner. Okay, they always need to have a winner, despite your physical condition, despite your health issues. That's why, as I'm always saying, you have to be in the best of states going to any major Grand Slam to be able to progress or be successful. So that's how it is. I really respect tennis players. So the other semi-finals, Novak Djokovic also accounted. Okay, Novak Djokovic accounted for the homegrown talent from Great Britain, Cameron Norrie, by 3 sets to 1. Okay, that game also lasted for 2 hours 37 minutes. And Novak Djokovic, he's so experienced. He dropped the first set. To the homegrown talent. And playing at home, by all means, Cameron Norrie had the home advantage. Okay, and we all know that the famous court, Center Court, which is 100 years. This year they celebrated the 100 years of Center Court, and Center Court is located at the All England Lawn Tennis and Crochet Club, as I said. And we all know that Wimbledon, they have about 38 courts. Okay, 38 courts. They use 18 of them for the tennis, and Center Court is the most famous one. Center Court was established in 1922, so they are having its 100th anniversary. And Center Court is the most famous court in tennis. Okay, the most famous court in tennis, and its capacity, I think, is the 6th largest capacity. The stadium, that tennis court or stadium that hosts tennis matches, it is the 6th largest in tennis. The stadia used in playing tennis, Center Court is the 6th largest. It sits, I think, 14,979 thereabouts, which is almost 15,000 seater capacity court or stadium. And Center Court is the most famous court at these majors, these 4 majors. Certainly the most famous at Wimbledon. And we all know that great tennis players have thrived well at Center Court, and this year is a milestone. They are celebrating the 100 years. So Center Court last night, the match between Rafael Nadal and Nick Kyrgios from Australia couldn't come on due to his abdominal tear injury, and Nick Kyrgios was awarded the victory, and he had the privilege and opportunity of making his first major Grand Slam finals at age 27. Now he will be facing arguably one of the greatest of all times in the Serbian tennis legend Novak Djokovic. And Novak Djokovic is the current defending champion of Wimbledon, because he won Wimbledon last year after also winning the Australian Open and the French Open last year. He won Wimbledon, and unfortunately for him, he has lost both the Australian Open and also the French Open to his bitterest rival, that is Rafael Nadal. And now Rafael Nadal can't win his 3rd major. I'll talk about Rafael Nadal. It's a very, very sad time for the fans of Rafael Nadal, because he was also hoping to complete a major a calendar slam, that's win all the 4 majors, which is very, very difficult to achieve, especially in this Open era, and this era of Nadal, Djokovic and Federer, who are on at least 20 Grand Slams each. Nadal on 22, Federer on 20, and Djokovic on 20. You realize that Nadal was also on 20 at the start of this year, and he won his 21st and 22nd Grand Slam title this year, winning his 21st at Australian Open in January, and he also won his 22nd Grand Slam title at his favorite tennis grounds or Grand Slam tournament, the Roland Garros or the French Open, where he managed to win a record 14 career Grand Slam titles out of his 22. Okay, so the other 8 came in the 3 other majors. So Rafael Nadal is now 2 Grand Slams clear of both Djokovic and Federer. Okay, but none of them has been able to complete a calendar slam, and I think only 2 ATP players or male players have been able to complete a calendar slam. It's very, very difficult. I think Rod Laver and another player, I'll get you the names, and also Steffi Graf from Germany, the legendary tennis player, and also Margaret Smith-Court, the lady with most Grand Slam titles in history, 24, who is leading the American legendary tennis player Serena Williams by 1, which Serena Williams have tried in the past years but have been unable to equal Margaret Court all-time record. Margaret Court has also completed a calendar slam before. That means that I think in 1970 Margaret Court won all the 4 majors. Steffi Graf has also managed to win all the 4 majors before. She's also won all the 4 majors. Steffi Graf from Germany. She was also a WTA tennis player. That's from the women's side. And this 18-year-old, she was a teenager, Maureen Connolly, at age 18, managed to achieve that remarkable feat where she won all 4 majors. So I would confirm that to you. So before the session ends, so Novak Djokovic today managed to defeat homegrown talent Cameron Norrie, and Cameron Norrie is now a very, very good tennis player. He's ranked 12th on the ATP rankings. We all know that Novak Djokovic is now ranked 3rd. But this year's championships, Novak Djokovic is the first seed. Okay, because both the world number 1 and world number 2 weren't present in Daniel Medvedev and Alexander Zverev. So because of that, Novak Djokovic is the first seed, and you realize that Novak Djokovic in the semi-finals eliminated Cameron Norrie, who was the 9th seed. As I said, Cameron Norrie is a homegrown talent from Great Britain. So the finals is set. Nick Kyrgios had a walkover victory over Rafael Nadal, the player with most Grand Slam titles. So Nadal can't complete a calendar slam because he couldn't even make the finals due to injury. So he would try and get back in shape and try to win his 23rd major Grand Slam at the last Grand Slam of the year, the US Open. So that's how it is. I'm hoping the US Open, Roger the tennis Federer, the legendary Swiss player, would also recover from his knee injury, because he's had a knee surgery that has prevented him from participating in both the Australian Open, the US Open, and this year's Wimbledon. And he's the player with most Wimbledon titles. Roger Federer, I think 8 Wimbledon titles, which is a record for the men's singles. And you realize that I'm praying all these 3 legendary players will be able to make the US Open. That's Roger Federer for you, Roger Federer. And realize that I just love the way he plays tennis. His backhand strokes, his forehand strokes, and his serves, and the swag with which he plays tennis is so exciting. And that's him, the legendary Swiss player. And you realize that I just love this player. I just love him. And you realize that he's made some of us very happy. Some of us that love this sport. So that's how it is. So the finals is set. Nick Kyrgios, who had a walkover win over Rafael Nadal due to his abdominal tear injury, will have the honor of playing in the finals against one of the greatest of all times in Novak Djokovic. And this is his first major finals at age 27. Now Novak Djokovic is now 35 years old, and I still tip him as the first seed. Nick Kyrgios is unseeded. His ranking is, I think, 44. He's the 44th on the ATP ranking, so he's unseeded at this year's championships, Wimbledon. And let's see whether we are in for a shock. But I think Novak Djokovic, I think he would win his 21st major Grand Slam, as I predicted. You see, the other time I said I have a soft spot for Rafael Nadal, because of his affiliation with Real Madrid, and he's also a Spanish. I've talked about the fact that I naturally love Spanish tennis players, being it male or female, and also American tennis players, being male or female, especially the females. But this time around, I wanted Novak Djokovic to win this year's Wimbledon. The reason is quite simple. He couldn't defend his title at Australian Open due to the COVID issues. You see, he didn't take the vaccine, and because of that, he wasn't allowed to play. Now he came at Roland Garros. That's the domain of Rafael Nadal. So Nadal won the Australian Open in Novak Djokovic's absence, and he came to the domain of Rafael Nadal, and they met in the quarterfinals, and Nadal eliminated him and went on to win his 22nd Grand Slam title. And I always say, had he played in the Australian Open, which is his favorite court, because Novak Djokovic has a record 9 titles at Australian Open, okay, and he would have definitely won his 10th title. That's what I believe, because I've followed him for the past 8 years, and out of 19 major Grand Slams, he has managed to win 15. And as I said the other time, what amazes me, or what astonishes me about Novak Djokovic, the Serbian, is that in 2013-14 he was just on 5 Grand Slams, whilst Nadal was on 11, and Roger the Tenth Federer was on 17. So he was trailing this legendary duo, but he managed to win 15 out of the 19 Grand Slam finals he played in. So Novak Djokovic, his coaches, his team, personally, his wife, Jelena Djokovic, you always see him, so see her in the stand supporting him together with his coaches and all that. Novak Djokovic is a sensational tennis player, very, very disciplined man. And I tip him to win this year's Wimbledon. That's defend his title. At least he'll be able to defend one of his 3 majors he won last year. If he defends it, wins his 21st Grand Slam, he'll have the opportunity at the last Grand Slam of the year in the US Open to equal Rafael Nadal. And that will be a nice narrative and a nice story going into the US Open. So that's how it is. So God willing, tomorrow we will see how the women's finals pan out. And also on Sunday, we'll see how the men's finals pan out. I'm tipping Ons Jabeur from Tunisia to make Africa proud and win her first major Grand Slam. You see, Elena Rybakina from Kazakhstan is also seeking to win her first major Grand Slam, but this time around, better luck next time. I want an African to win and make Africa proud and become only the second African to win a major Grand Slam, and it will be shared, one from the men's side and one from the women's side, because no woman has been able to win a major Grand Slam from Africa. Okay. And Ons Jabeur from Tunisia is on the brink of making history. And you realize that Johan Craig's from South Africa, who won the 1981-82 Australian Open back-to-back, is the only African. So I want another African to add up to our record. Okay, so Ons Jabeur for me to win the women's singles. As I said, I tip Barbora Krejcikova and Katarina Siniakova from Czech Republic to win their 5th major Grand Slam double titles, because they are so good at the Grand Slam doubles, and I tip the Czech duo to win at the doubles. And also for the men's singles, I tip Novak Djokovic to win his 21st Grand Slam and cut Rafael Nadal's lead to just 1 and have the opportunity to equal him at US Open. I wish all these tennis players the best, and for me, I'm just praying that the final Grand Slam of the year in the US Open, we have both Federer, Djokovic and Nadal in good shape to be able to compete, and what a tournament it will be. So this is where we draw the curtains to today's tennis update and edition on the sports couch, and God willing, I will see you some other time. I love you. Good evening.